Welcome back to another cheeky little toy review here on my channel. Today we're taking a peek at another Marvel Legends Avengers classic style figure, this time with the West Coast Avengers logo on the packaging, Scarlet Witch. This is my first ever comic book Scarlet Witch figure, so I am very, very excited about this. I unfortunately, was not financially able to at the time, but did want to get my grubby paws on the sort of Magneto 3-pack from a couple of years ago, which featured a sort of 90s, early 2000s Magneto, sort of 90s but classic costume-inspired Quicksilver and similar Scarlet Witch. This is a much more specific, like 70s, 80s vibe Scarlet Witch, West Coast Avengers style, and will look lovely on the shelf alongside West Coast Avengers like Tigra over there. There she is. So, yes, I'm very, very excited to open this because Tiger was the last one of this style that I got, and I was very, very pleased with the figure. So, there's a little cheeky look at Wanda in her packaging. No alternate hands, no alternate heads, but some accessories for spell casting. Great illustration of Wanda there on the side, and same illustration on the back, with a caption that reads, Scarlet Witch finds her heartbreak turned to horror when she encounters her husband Vision rebuilt with no memory of their love. A reference to the original sort of comic book White Vision debut. The White Vision is also available in this range. I do hope to get him. If you'd like to help me get him, you can donate to my PayPal down in the description and leave a note to let me know it's to go toward White Vision. But in the meantime, let's open up former member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, now West Coast Avenger, Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. She's not dancing, I just wanted to show off the accessibility, the articulation, accessibility. Yes, she's got Bluetooth connection, no. So, Wanda has a pivot on each ankle, which also goes from side to side to increase posability. There is no swivel at the boot, which considering it's skin tight, I'm glad of, because then you get those weird little like sort of ledges around the top of the boot when you turn the leg. Maybe it would have been worth putting an ankle joint in here, since she has sort of a thinner ankle, or what have you. Double knee joint, which is a little restricted because it's sculpted. So for display reasons, it always looks great, but it means that she can only bend like that. So a little bit limited there. But then again, Wanda's not like a kung fu combatant. She's mostly going to be floating in your displays or shooting things out of her hands, so not too bad, really. Swivel at the top of the thigh. The crotch is a little bit stiff, but the legs go out and forward, as we just demonstrated with the forward. There is no waist swivel, which is fair enough, because it's a very tightly sculpted, like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s styled, like, look at these abs. She's got abs, man. She's got abs. There is a rib crunch just sort of below the breast portion of the corset, which allows for a pretty decent range of movement, forward and backwards, slight side to side. She has one joint at the top of the arms. The shoulders go out and in, a little bit stiff. One joint in the elbow, because this is mostly used from older body parts, from older Hasbro figures, and the hands can bend at the wrist. It would have been great to have alternate hands, I think, just like fists. So she's got slightly more, natural hands when she's just standing around. You could then have, you could have Wanda's arms by her sides, but not an option apparently. Ooh, there we go. Sorry, I'm using my phone, it's a little bit squiggly. Yeah, older body type, because there's only one bend at the elbow. In fact, those who do have that Magneto triple set, please do let me know if maybe the arms and the legs are the same parts from that set. She also has pegs on display, because it's older figure body type. Head, I can't tell what the articulation is because I can't get in there. I think it's the more recent favoured double ball-ended peg with a hole in the neck and a hole in the head. The mask, the crown, as it were, is sculpted closely to her face, but not closely enough because there are these weird gaps at the side. Oh, it's really a shame. So, like, Wanda's just got these big gaping holes at the side where she's just got no features, no skin, no hair, nothing. So she can only really be seen displayed from the front or slightly turned to the side. What I might end up doing here is I might end up gluing them down as best I can. But I'm not entirely sure. As for the sculpt itself, the face is a great face. Like, you know, slightly rounder cheeks, which is good because obviously when they've given her a looser mask piece, it means that, you know, it's not just a straight line down there. There's a definition to her cheek and her jaw. A little line under the chin there. That's very realistic. Great colour on the lips. The eyes look lovely. Fringe is obviously quite comedically far down, which is a big part of why that's happened. I'm going to have to look it up to see if other people have experienced that with theirs, because, oof, that's not good. Cape is a separate piece, which if you pop the head off, you could take the cape off. It seems to be sculpted around the neck entirely. So, yes. So if you take the head off, you can take the cape off. The ruffles there around the neck are nice. The simulated material on the back is lovely, as is inside. Could be a slightly darker red maybe, but you know, this is her look, her older look, the pinks and the purples and the reds. So, never mind. The plastic of her chest, like the breast part of her corset, is different from the lower part, and that to me just looks a little odd. I know sometimes she was coloured lighter on the sort of like the breasts and whatnot in the books, but it was to sort of define, make the colours pop on of the shape of her torso on the page, if that makes any sense without sounding seedy, because it's not meant to. So the fact that the bit underneath is a different colour, it just looks like she's wearing a separate item. It's very odd. A much better match for the gloves and the hands. That's not as obvious a colour difference. And between the upper thighs, the upper legs going to the pelvis and the thighs, it's a different pinky purple. There's a slight difference between the colours, so it's it's rather odd. It's like she feels very kit bashed. In a way which, if like me, you've never managed to get hold of a classic Wanda, is, you know, good, sure, it's a great way to get hold of it, but it feels like they've compromised a little bit in a few places in a way that would have been avoided had they just simply re-released an older Wanda. Maybe the older ones did have this issue. You let me know in the comments, because I don't know. She comes with magical sort of power displays for her arms, her wrists. So she can be using hex magic, chaos magic, as well as ones for her hands and arms. I had similar props. These have appeared with a few figures. The only ones I've had them for so far is similar ones to this, for the Spider-Man Retro Collection Shocker figure. So the wrist, this can click around the wrist. You have to do a bit of wiggling and be careful not to snap the plastic. Or you can slide the hand through there and have this a little further up the arm, and it allows for different magical effects. Or if you're a massive nerd, Hidden Mickey. Let's see what she looks like in action. Chaos magic! You know what? Head on. There is no issue with this Wanda at all. Like, look at that on the wide shot. She cuts a striking, impressive figure. The stiffness of the cape, which is just a little too long. Like, when she stood up, it's battling the back of her heels, and threatening to knock her off balance. Of course, when you tip the cape backwards, it gives you a nice bit of more of a dynamic kind of swoosh to it. But at the same time, you can't turn her sideways on without revealing the massive flaw in the head sculpt, which is a huge shame, because other than that, it's a very, very cool figure. Do I recommend the Scarlet Witch? If, like me, you don't have a classic Scarlet Witch, yes, it's a pretty cool inclusion to your collection. I think she's going to look gorgeous on the shelf as a display piece. However, I think there's a better one out there. Or, if those who've already got earlier Scarlet Witches can let me know in the comments if it's a similar problem, maybe there's a better one still to come. What do you think of my review of the Marvel Legends Retro West Coast Avenger Scarlet Witch? Do you think it looks pretty cool? Do you think she makes for a striking figure? Would you buy it yourself? Have you already got it? Do you have issues with it? Do you have nothing but praise for it? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, if you want to buy me a toy and leave a shout out so I know it's you and I can shout you out in the video, my Amazon wishlist and PayPal links are in the description, but you're under no obligation to do that. You can help me out simply by liking the video or commenting down below, subscribing if you haven't already. I'm not a toy review channel, but I like to drop toy reviews in when I get a new toy because I think they're helpful for people. If they've been helpful for you, let me know, and I will see you again very, very soon.